10 minutes from downtown Austin is a home that still fits that hill country vibe. And you're going to see that on the second floor balcony in this home. Stick with me for a great home tour. Now, this is 6103 Twin Ledge Drive right here in Austin, Texas. This home has 5 bedrooms, 4.5 bathrooms, is over 4,600 square feet, and it's on one of the most unique lots that I've seen in this area. Simply because when you get onto that second floor balcony, you're going to see nothing but mature trees off the front of this home, and there is tons of privacy in the back of the home. And in the back of the home, you're going to see an outdoor kitchen, you're going to see a cowboy soaking pool. If you don't even know what that is, we'll walk through it a little bit later on in the video. But on the inside of this home, you're going to see a living room that opens up to a courtyard and so many upgrades in the kitchen. But most importantly, it's all about the views in this home. You're going to see that off the front of the home right here in this dining area. There's also another spare bedroom on the other side of the front door we'll get to later on in the video. And then through the courtyard, there is a garage apartment. So we're going to walk through all of that in full detail. And I did want to give some credit to the listing agent, Rachael Jones at Pure Realty. Really appreciate Rachael letting me put this on my YouTube channel so people can see what's possible at this price point in this community called Cap Mountain, located in the Northwest Hills region here in Austin, Texas. Now, this home is currently listed for sale at the time I'm recording this video just below $2.75 million. And like usual, we're going to start right here in the kitchen. Now, I think as soon as you turn the corner into this main living area, you can't help but notice the waterfall countertops on the kitchen island, but then you start to notice that intricate design with the cabinets in a U shape, kind of framing the stovetop and that beautiful backsplash. But what I think plays off this kitchen island so well is notice the cabinets on either side of the vent hood that we're going to get to in a second. It matches up with the kitchen island and it provides that perfect contrast of color so many people tell me they're looking for in their kitchen. But in this kitchen, I think it's all about the backsplash. And so I don't poke myself in the face, I'm going to put that pot filler back. But take a look at this backsplash. I love how it forces your eyes to look up, where it follows the vent hood all the way to the ceiling. And then what we'll notice is there's an entire wall of cabinetry on this side. It goes all the way down to the back wall. And I love how they extended the backsplash all the way down there. So much to see in this kitchen. It's got dual ovens. It's got 2 Jenner beverage refrigerators. It's got a full-size wine fridge. It's got so much going on. And then I love the sliding glass doors that we're going to see all the way in the back of the home. It goes out to the outdoor kitchen area, but off the front of the home, you get all those mature trees that I was talking about. So everywhere there's greenery and privacy off the back and the front of the home. Now, through those windows, through the living room, it's going to be that courtyard. Don't worry, we're going to get back there in a second, but I want to show you this area because it's kind of right off of the kitchen and it feels like it's an extension of that kitchen. And this is what so many people tell me they're looking for in their kitchen. They want as many cabinets as possible. And I think to fit that in, usually you're taking out windows in this space. So usually when you have this many cabinets, there's some sort of limitation, like there's some sort of compromise, and it's usually natural light. But I think on this home, because of the privacy that's in this home and because they used wide open windows, sliding glass doors, this is bringing in so much natural light into that main living area. Now, that continues in the study, and what so many people tell me is when they're looking around houses around the Austin, Texas metro area, they got to pay for that house, right? They got to do some work at home, and when they work from home, people tell me they want as much natural light as possible. That's what people tell me, especially the ones that move from Seattle. They say they cannot stand how cloudy it is there 9 months out of the year. They just don't see the sun. And when they see areas like this, like a study like this, right off the main living area that looks out to that outdoor kitchen area, and it feels private, feels like it has so much natural light because of that bay window, they can start to imagine what it's like to work from home in a space like this. But if you like natural light, wait until we get upstairs. That game room, the balcony, the bedrooms upstairs, there's so much natural light coming in from all the windows on that second floor. And I think that courtyard is so much more functional than it actually seems. It's not just something fun they put in there. You're going to see how functional that is when we get out to that courtyard. But then when we get upstairs, you'll see what I mean by all the windows that are up there. Now outside, there's a lot going on here. Like right there is a cowboy soaking pool. There's some custom decking built around it. There's some turf here. And then that's an entryway into the garage apartment. So that door there goes right to a garage apartment. There's also a side entrance garage. So in a few minutes, I'm going to go back to the front of the home. I can't wait to show you that elevation because I think we kind of just walked right into the home. But I want to show you how epic that elevation is on the front. But stick with me back here because when I was telling you about privacy, there's tons of privacy back here. Like this is why I'm looking up. There is a house beyond those trees. Can you see it? I'm going to point it out to you here in a second, but that house is barely visible from this backyard. And I know that for a fact because I've been in that house and I've looked down here and you can barely see the turf. You really can't see anything else, and that's the level of privacy in this area of the Northwest Hills because there's so many mature trees around this area. And that's why I love touring homes here. You never know what you're gonna get, and it's almost like every home is unique in its own way. Like, take a look at this backyard. I want to look up because there's some really functional items here. Shade is really important in Texas. Fans are really important. It makes this area so much easier to use in the summer, but most importantly, you get easy access into the kitchen. That's the sliding glass door that we looked at earlier. So there's still so much to see here.
Hey, real quick, I didn't want to breeze over this exterior look because it's one of the first things that drew my attention when I saw pictures of this home. And I gotta say, when I drove up to this home, it knocked it out of the park. A lot of times I'm skeptical when I see pictures. You might have heard me describe that before, but when I saw this one, I thought it was actually better than the pictures. But I think what stands out as so unique is when I talk about a private, secluded street, this is what I mean. You go outside here and it feels so quiet, feels like you're not minutes from downtown Austin. It feels like you're in a private area. It's very serene, it's very chill. And if this is what you're looking for, this is an interesting property. But what's most interesting is gonna be that balcony that's up there. We're gonna get there towards the end of the video, so stick with me here. Back to the video. Okay, we're gonna get back into the home. I think you saw now the backyard. You saw a little bit more about that front yard. I didn't wanna breeze over that epic elevation on the front of this home. But let's get into some of the rooms that are here, and then I can't wait for you to see the front courtyard, or whatever that courtyard is called, which is actually just there to our left. We're gonna take a look at that garage apartment as well as the side entrance garage. But for this home, I think it's all about the upstairs. I can't wait for you to see the balcony on this secluded street because anytime I hear secluded, I gotta be upfront with you. I am always skeptical because oftentimes secluded can mean anything, right? Secluded can mean, hey, there's some trees outside this house. It's like, great. That doesn't mean it's secluded, but this street truly does feel secluded. I think you saw a little bit about that previously when I was at the front of the home. But if you like that, you love being around greenery, you have to see the balcony. Now, previously I thought this was a bedroom, but now I'm realizing it's kind of like just a flex room. There is a closet, so you could definitely use this as a bedroom, but you'll see outside of here, it's just a powder bathroom. The two bedrooms that I believe here are on the first floor are gonna be at the front of the home, which we haven't seen yet. The garage apartment, which has an in-suite full bath. The bedroom at the front of the house also has an in-suite full bath, but I don't want to breeze over this courtyard. For some people, when they have a flex area, it serves as almost like a second study. So I've had people that want this as a flex area, or if it's a guest bedroom that doesn't need to be close by to a full bath, they'll put like a wall bed up on the side, or a Murphy bed, right? So that way they double down and it's a flex space. It truly is a flex space. You can use it as a second study or another bedroom. But what I thought was key here is by doing this courtyard area, there's no roof on this side. So I've looked up now a couple times without explaining. Those are the windows that we're gonna see a little bit later on in the game room that open up to beautiful mature trees. And this is where it's not just put a courtyard in the home because it's fun and let's see what happens. Like, this was very purposeful. It left that space open for windows, not only in the game room, but two of the bedrooms upstairs all capture the beauty that's around this home. And that's where it's not just a design for fun, it's it's very purposeful, it's intentional, and I love seeing that in these homes because I've seen the opposite. I've seen homes that have no intention, and you really feel that when you get inside the home and take one of these videos, or my clients see those homes in person, and we try to always vet those out, explain how they feel with video, so we're not wasting our time running through a marathon of a bunch of homes, because that's where people get tired, right? And so oftentimes when we see pictures of homes, the pictures are always going to frame the home in its best light. And that's not, no pun intended of it, right? Like, it truly is going to increase exposure. It's going to take an angle, like a lot of photographers will go down and you can barely see over the countertop, so it makes like the ceiling look a little bit bigger. And look, they're just doing their job. Their job is to make the home look really good through photos. But I can't tell you how many times I've walked the home through there, and I just think there's no intention here. It doesn't make any sense what's going on. And that's why I love going through these videos and pointing out when things absolutely make sense. Because I'm telling you, this front courtyard makes so much sense. That's one of the windows from the bedroom. There's another one up there, and you can just start to see a peek of the greenery that's here. Also, when you're in that living room, you don't want to just look out at a wall in a front courtyard. I love how they put a couple sconces in here and a super cool wall design. I don't know if you can see this, but it's bringing a lot of, reflecting a lot of the natural light that's in here. And I thought that was a very cool touch. Now, a couple of things I also don't want to breeze over is the epoxy flooring. You have a lot of great storage. We do have a side entrance garage, which I think makes a lot of sense. There'd be a ton more natural light, but I didn't put those up just because some of the blinds here are motorized, I think in all the right places, and then some of the blinds are not. And when I leave here, it's going to be really interesting trying to reach for those blinds that are not, but we'll see what happens. Now, this is going to be a garage apartment. Now, the use case for this is, I've had a lot of people say when they hire somebody who's doing work at their house, it's nice for them to stay, but still be, secluded, and so that they feel privacy. They don't feel like they're living on top of each other. A lot of my friends have done this with a live-in nanny. Somebody drop in the comments what the word is. It's not doula, it's something else. But I've had a lot of friends. It's usually a nanny from South America that comes here for the sole purpose of being a live-in nanny. And live-in nannies, I've heard, are great. My wife and I didn't use that. We used a doula for the first month who stayed with us, but they were gone after the first month after my wife gave birth to both of our kids. We did that, and it was very great. I think we even extended for another month after that, just because it was fantastic to have somebody help us while we're both, I was working, and my wife went back to work after just 2 to 3 months out of her choice, right? Which I respected, of course. And it was much easier by having somebody with us. And all my friends say the same thing. A live-in nanny has been fantastic. The only thing they wish they had was maybe a little bit more privacy, where they don't feel like they're living on top of each other, with somebody who does feel like a little bit more of a guest. But I think over time, a lot of people say that their live-in nanny becomes a part of the family, and that's great to have. But there's a lot of uses for that garage apartment. That's one of the first things I think about because of the current life situation that my wife and I just went through. We have a 3 and a 1-year-old at home, and it's been an amazing ride. It's quite the roller coaster. Sometimes there's a lot of excitement, there's growth in our kids, then sometimes there's sleep deprivation and ear infections, and then ear tubes, and then the ear tubes drop off, and then it's ear infections. But I'm not harping on that. That's just a part of life. That's what we decided to take on as new parents, and we love every second of it. We always try to see the growth in our kids, even when they're in those 2s, 3s phase, when they're running tantrums. There is growth. I think at the end of the day, there is always growth. And we do look at these homes then and say, well, how can we, look at these homes, potentially buy one that helps us, take care of our kids, give them their own space, have guests over, have friends, family over, stay with us so that they can all be in one place. And that's one of the most important things that we're looking at when we look at homes. And not that this video is about me, but just so you know that I'm heavily invested in this channel, and showing homes and trying to get through all the talking points so you're equipped with the information you need to make an educated decision. You should know that my wife and I are looking at this area. We have quite a few friends in this specific neighborhood called Cat Mountain, and the whole Northwest Hills region is something that we're excited about moving into. We're also looking at, Tarrytown, Allendale, Rosedale, but I think we are a little bit more leaning Northwest Hills for a few reasons. And if I have some time, I will try to cover that in this video. But I am very new to this area. I did have 98% of my clients reach out to me as a realtor through social media, specifically YouTube. It's obviously a different channel, and that channel was all about the suburbs and building with a production builder. So I was mostly in, Leander, Liberty Hill, Georgetown, which some people say is fairly far out, but when you look at a map in Texas, it's about like 30 to 45 minutes outside of downtown in some of the areas that I'm in. Maybe with traffic, if you're deep into like Liberty Hill, which is like 30 miles outside of downtown. Yeah, it could be more, like maybe like an hour or something like that. But for Texas, 30 miles is nothing, right? We got gigantic highways. We got unique homes where they put a mirror right above the commode. That's interesting, right? But this is the bedroom that I was referring to earlier that does have an in-suite full bathroom, feels private right off the front of the home. So I don't want to breeze this over before we get outside. Also didn't want to miss this. I love all these windows in the front door. Really adds to that epic elevation that we saw previously, but also brings in a lot of natural light. Also, I was just in a home here in the Northwest Hills that I toured that had a really cool accent wall. So you were kind of met with this accent wall right when you walked in. I thought of something like that. I think there are so many cool things that you can do inside these homes to really design it to your taste. But let's get upstairs. You're gonna see why this property I think is so unique, and it's really this game room, primary bedroom, the balcony that's coming up. It's absolutely fantastic. Now, while we're up here, and I'm gonna cover a couple of the bedrooms that are here, then we're gonna get to the primary bedroom. I'm gonna get to that balcony that we're gonna see right through these windows in a second. I can't wait for you to see that in full detail. But while we're up here, I wanna tell you so many of the people that live in this area, what they're saying about this area, why they move here, why they spend the money for these types of homes to get here. The number one thing I hear from people is the reason why they looked at moving to Austin, Texas, is they want to feel like they live in Austin, Texas, right? They don't want to be in the suburbs where they feel like it's not unique. People that look at Austin truly feel like it's a unique city. It's right in the middle of Texas, but it somehow has these rolling hills and topography west of the city. It also has, in the middle of Texas, the Colorado River running through it. So there's a river that runs through these hills, and one drive down 2222 or one drive down the 360 bridge, which by the way is just west of this house. These areas that are iconic, it really resonates with people who want to be surrounded by beauty, topography, and greenery. But what they really miss most and what they feel like they're losing out on in the suburbs is they feel like the vibe may not be there. And when they look around areas like this in Austin, and like just south of here is Tarrytown, and there's a couple restaurants there that people love. I'm not gonna mention all of them, there's so many. There's food trucks that are there that are extremely popular. I'm not gonna mention all of them because there's so many of those as well. But so many of these things attract people to moving to Austin, right? First, they check it out as a tourist, but then they eventually go through their options of where to move to. They think of, well, should we move to Nashville? Should we move to Denver? Should we move to Austin, Raleigh? They want lifestyle, right? That's what they're weighing with these cities that are great. Affordability is definitely a factor. Job is definitely a factor. But ultimately for people that can work from home or have flexibility, a lot of people, especially the newer generation that's coming up and buying homes, they put experience as their number one reason of moving. They want a different experience, and they're buying into that lifestyle. I've had so many people move to Austin and say, hey, I'm gonna figure out the job second. First, I want a lifestyle that makes sense for me. And that makes sense is a lot of times is gonna be an outdoor, like a city that you can get outdoors, you can hike, you can bike, most importantly, it's a very lively, active city. People say they want to be surrounded by people that are active, that are out and about, that want to do things. And that's what really draws people to areas like this, because when they say they're in a home that's surrounded by greenery and beauty, it motivates them to get outside. It motivates them to say, hey, I need to finish up my work because I want to go meet up with my friend and we're going to go for a hike. Or I can't tell you how many times people are saying like they get invites to a happy hour or meet up with a friend at a food truck, and they're so excited to get done with work and enjoy life. And that's truly why I think people move to this Austin, Texas, like right around downtown Austin, like the central Austin area is so important for people to buy into, because it's not buying necessarily the house. It's not even buying the beauty, it's buying the lifestyle. Like it's what that beauty around their house gets them. It gets them motivated to get out of their house. It gets them enjoying the greenery. It gives them peace of mind to just look around and take in all the beauty that's here, and then go out and experience that beauty with hiking and biking, or driving around with some friends and meeting up at a coffee shop or something like that. So I can keep going on here, but I think you get the point. It's more about the lifestyle more than anything else. That's what people are really buying into. Now I gotta move on here to the primary bathroom, because this was different from so many reasons. First off, that skylight's bringing in so much natural light. I think it accents all the great design that's in this primary bathroom. Like take a look at the countertops and how they contrast the white cabinet color. And then what I think ties it all together is this massive floor tile that's got some great veins running through it that get pulled out by that countertop. When you have a light tile like that, light cabinets, and then you got a great skylight that's accenting all that light tower, that's when you could have some fun in the primary shower. And that's what they did here with a darker tile, which I think some people are very fearful of doing. But when you have a dark tile that's glossy like this, notice how light it's reflecting. And that's not just my camera playing a trick. That's truly what I'm seeing with my eyeballs right now, you know? It's very real. By the way, I'm shooting this on an iPhone. I am shooting in 4K, which everybody should have access to on their iPhone, so I don't think it's anything special, but I really try to keep these videos raw. My editor overseas really just edits a thumbnail for me and puts music on these homes. That's it. That's really the only editing that I'm doing. We try to keep this as raw as possible so that you get almost like a friend is walking you through a house and they're touring all this stuff and they're looking outside this window asking you, do you want to be in this freestanding tub that's behind me? And there is a neighbor all the way back there, but where is it? You can't even see him now, right? It's incredible. And they would be saying, hey, this could be you right in this bathtub. If you're into the whole tub thing, then that's pretty cool. And by the way, there are motorized blinds up here. So if you want privacy, you have that. There are motorized blinds in many locations throughout this home, but very cool stuff here. Now, there's also like built-in cabinetry everywhere, like even along the commode. They somehow fit another window in there. And then there's actually 2 closets here in the primary bathroom. And by the way, we're gonna get to the primary bedroom next, but I don't wanna breeze over these closets. This is the smaller closet, so we all know who's gonna get that closet, and we all know who's gonna get this one that has an island, is huge, and has tons of built-ins in here. Absolutely fantastic. Now, I said this primary bathroom was interesting. I started covering a lot of the design upgrades, but what I also think is interesting is the entrance in here. What do you think about this? It's kind of like an entrance off the game room. It is private from the other bedrooms. Like that's a bedroom, that's another bedroom we already saw. So it is interesting that you kind of almost feel like you're entering in through the primary bathroom, probably because of the tile. I mean, that's how I felt when I walked in. But then your primary bedroom is right over here. By the way, I'm pointing that out because I want to know what you think, right? Some people love that. If it's a unique property, lean in, right? You should be unique in everything that you do. For others, they can't maybe get over that. I want to know what you think, but I'll tell you what a lot of people think of this primary bedroom is it's massive. It's got 2 fans. It's got a sliding door there. It's got another door heading to that balcony. And what a lot of people tell me is They want to wake up, they want to pull their curtains to the side, and they want to see greenery. They want to feel like they live in Austin, Texas. And that's the feeling that I think you get in this primary bedroom. I have no idea why there's a fireplace over there. That's cool. It's the middle of Texas, but that can be a great aesthetic. So it's fun to just on a winter day kind of fire up that fireplace. It's fun aesthetically, but this is fun because year round you can get out to this balcony that is simply incredible. Now there are neighbors, like there's one over there, but where you can barely see them, right? Same type of thing. I think you see the running theme. There's a neighbor over there. I think we saw them previously when I was all the way down there, but you can barely see these neighbors. And this is what a private street, secluded street really feels like. And this is a true secluded street that just feels like it's taking in all the beauty that's here in the Austin, Texas metro area. All right, I want to know what you think about this home that is currently for sale. Let me know in the comments. And then if you're looking around in this area, reach out to me. My number's at the bottom of the description of this video. And I'm going to keep exploring this area around Northwest Hills, Tarrytown, Allendale, Rosedale, Brentwood, Crestview. If there's any neighborhoods I'm missing, drop them in the comments. Let me know what you want to see. And if you want to see another video, go ahead and click right here. And as always, I hope this helps. Take care, everyone.